money at today's done, so he gets high on you. And the energy you trade, he gets right on to the friction of the...
I don't hear anything.
Well,
No wonder
you
why.
should plug yourself in. That would help.
I'm not plugged in here.
Well, I'll just play the bumper for a little bit longer till you get it all straight.
I'm going, I can't hear anything.
I can't hear you.
I need a new studio.
Well, my bumper was about to run out here, so Tom, you're about to be live.
There
you
we
go.
Now, this
There
thing
you go.
fell. This little thing
You're just all
fell.
discombobulated today, man.
I cannot work with that guy in here. He's in my personal space.
We replaced a dog with a human.
He's right here. Did somebody pat him down? He's close. Within a leap, he could be at my throat. But I have, for guys like that, I have right here
What?
my wooden pencil from the Bahamas.
Oh.
Remember that?
Is that like a self-defense wooden
is-
pencil?
this is-
My dog ate that pencil.
You ever see my knife work? Ah! Oh, that hurt.
My dog ate my Bahamas pencil.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Or I could draw a mustache on him. Something like that.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't think there's a human very close to me, grunt. There he is. He looks like
He's
sounds
in
like
studio today.
He's in studio. We have a guest.
Yes.
We have a guest in our studio here on the
Are you through messing with the audio now?
On the
You're messing with the audio, Mike.
4th of
February.
The 4th of
Wednesday.
February.
Wednesday the
4th of February.
4th.
Wednesday the 4th.
About 7 minutes after the hour.
7 minutes, right on that thing there. It's 7 minutes after the hour. Hi, Tom Trento here.
Who I'm ready to go. Let's go. Come on, I'm ready.
I forgot to plug in one little stupid plug thing. No, I really, oh, now it's on top of it. I really hope the new studio has wireless setup for us. Does it? Do we have wireless stuff? No.
Yes, you have wireless right now.
Yeah, no, these are wires. These things are called wires. Look, I got
Yeah,
wires all
those.
over the place.
Yeah, well, all right. You need to make a donation request.
Send your checks
Check your
to
check to Tom.
theunitedwest.org so Tom can not drink $2 a bottle wine.
$2.50. Huh?
Yeah, the guy comes and brings us cheap wine, but that's not real wine.
No, it's water. It actually is.
Not that cheap. Yes, Sutter. The Sutter vineyards are. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for that. It's what?
More expensive than the cigars.
Yeah. Oh God. Cigars afterwards, ladies and gentlemen. Hi.
All right.
Midweek here, and it's not even Jumpin' Juma Freaky Friday yet.
I know.
But, we're on part 3 of our 3-part series, and we're taking a look at
What series is that?
Yeah, Jihad Mughniyah. Mug, M-O-O-G. This is phonetically. Mughni, like your knee. Mughniyah. And he's a Hez terrorist that got wasted in
Hezbollah? You mean
2008.
Hezbollah?
Hezbollah terrorist. Got evaporated in 2008. Hopefully we'll get into how that happened. It's a fascinating story. But more timely, his son,
Jihad.
special guest. Do you have any kids?
Nobody can hear him, Tom.
I know. But I'm playing. I got it. I got it covered.
You got it covered.
You do have sons. You have sons? You do have sons, yeah. By any chance, have you ever named one of your sons Jihad?
Close, but no.
Close.
Close, but no.
no cigar.
Okay.
If you saw a guy who was a Hezbollah terrorist and he named his son Jihad, and you were sitting down with President Obama and said, does any of this have anything to do with Islam? How do you think the president would answer?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. That's correct. That's the correct response from the White House.
But we here at the United West, we can discover these clues, and we say that Jihad Mughniyah, the 22-year-old son of Jihad Mughniyah, who was wasted in 2008,
The rock star of Iran.
probably was a bad guy, at least according to his name.
Especially when they see posters, and he's saying "Death to
Pictures.
America."
Yeah, they can put their pictures up. Put up.
I know. I'm trying.
The
I'm trying.
Father and son.
There we go. Okay.
Here's the father and son.
There's the father and
A
son.
grand old time. Well, about 2 weeks ago.
Reunited.
About 2
And
weeks
it
ago,
feels so good.
we think the Israelis, actually a helicopter over Israeli territory in Israeli airspace, went into Syria a little bit on the eastern border. So we assume it's an Israeli, but it could be somebody else. And fired a couple of missiles at a convoy that was going along the western border of Syria, the eastern border of Israel. And in that convoy was an Iranian general, that's the country a little further to the east of Syria. We can throw a map up and show them that. The Iranian general and about 10 others were touring the Syrian front along the Israeli border. And Israeli intelligence, and that's something else. The Israelis have amazing intelligence, which means spies all over the place.
Yes.
Israeli intelligence said, you know what, those guys in those 3 or 4 cars there, they're up to no good. Probably Israel and the rest of the world would be better off if they didn't exist. And poof, within a second, Jihad Mughniyah, the son of Imad Mughniyah, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 7 years after his dad got wasted, he got evaporated by supposedly the Israelis. That made a bunch of Iranians very, very unhappy, plus their general also got wasted too. And so they said, we're going to retaliate, and they did last week. They killed 2 IDF soldiers with a Coronet missile supplied by the Soviet Union to Syria, handed to Hezbollah. How did that happen?
What do you mean? How does that happen?
What do you mean? How does that happen?
Let's hear it. Here's
do
the
stuff
chain of
like
command.
that?
Iran,
Not Iran.
And the mullahs. Then there is Syria, which Assad is bought and paid for by the Iranians.
He's a puppet.
Then you have Lebanon, which is absolutely 100% run by Hezbollah, which has a border with Israel.
Now hold on. Hezbollah also
And you can give bad weapons like that too?
Hezbollah is the military wing spread throughout all the world, even down to South America, where they're coming over our borders to extend the imamate, which it is called, across the globe, which is like the caliphate, but the Shia version of the
The
caliphate.
Shia version.
And they're 12ers, and they have to have an apocalyptic event to happen for end times to occur.
And that explains exactly at 13 minutes after 4 o'clock on the 4th of February 2015, Wednesday. It's hump day. Hump day. Hey,
Mike.
Hey, I have a quick question on that. You just said that in Shia that it requires some big poof.
Yes.
Now, see, according to our Iranian cab driver in D.C. last week, Iran should get the bomb. Iran should
Represented
get
by
the
my boxing
bomb
glove.
so we could have, what worked with the Soviets of mutually assured destruction. That doesn't sound like Iran would woe with that mutually assured destruction. It sound like they might actually use that bomb when they get it.
I run a very democratic operation where we get everybody's input and we make corporate decisions and all that. But I'm gonna autocratically state a principle of the United West from now on.
Okay.
If you guys ever miss videotaping insane Iranian
cab drivers.
who hate Israel, want to nuke them ever again,
In Washington, D.C.
you're done.
We should be.
We should be.
You're done.
We definitely dropped the ball on that one.
To our mystery guest, we were in Washington, D.C. last week, and to our audience, of course. But sometimes it's more interesting when you're talking to somebody like this,
Yes.
in any event.
We could
And,
lop his head off and keep it
And
here.
roll it across the table for you if you want to make it feel.
We were in Washington, D.C. We jumped in a cab. These 2 guys, Alan and myself, we were videotaping an Iranian briefing on why they ought not get nukes. This represents a nuke. I'll tell you
Yeah.
shortly. And I think Mark was in the front.
I was in the front, right.
And Mark has a way of getting these people to talk.
To volunteer insane
And
information.
He says he's an Iranian, and we talk about that. And then, what do you think about the nuclear things? Oh, I think Iran must get the nukes, right?
Right.
Why? Israel has them. We need them too, and that led to a
really?
Jew-hatred
Jew hate fest.
analysis of this cab driver. And all 4 of us have 25 recording devices on us.
All the
We're
time.
We're all just sitting there with our fingers up
Yeah,
our
we're
butt.
laughing and like, oh, this is so crazy.
It was
I can't believe
surreal.
it. Yeah.
It really
We
was.
were tuna canned in that car, though.
It wasn't there as part of the missing of the.
Yeah. But from now on, we will capture that sort of stuff.
I want to do a whole series on DC cab drivers.
And to set the context, part 3 of our series, which is arguing that Iran should not get the bomb, but we're looking at Imam Mughniyah and his son Jihad as the immediate catalysts for an advanced and increased aggressiveness by Hezbollah, which is indeed the fighting force, the frontline fighting force of Iran, particularly as they're negotiating with President Obama. So we have all the players here. We have Islam, represented by this Dome of the Rock.
Tom, this
Golden
has nothing
Dome
to do with Islam.
Over the rock, where Abraham sacrificed Bible scholars.
What are you asking us? Is this like a
Who
quiz?
did Abraham, who was he going to sacrifice on the rock?
Are you?
Let's
Who
ask
are you
the
asking,
Jewish
us
guy.
or the guest?
Who did Abraham suppose?
Isaac.
Isaac, all right.
Well, no,
I
not-
was pulling up maps here,
Okay,
buddy.
you
It
were
wasn't
checking
I'm
it
sitting
out
there
on
switching
Google.
comment.
pulling up your damn
Jewish guy going, who did Abraham sacrifice?
Well, according to Islam, it was Ishmael.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so I was
true.
going to say. I was going to say who are you talking about because I thought this was a trick question.
So on that rock, which was a special rock in Hebrew culture and Hebrew theology, the first temple was built. That was knocked down. Nebuchadnezzar, 500 BC or so. Second temple was finally finished, and that was smashed. When was that smashed? What year? Second temple.
Second was that's a good one. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
You're the theologian
Was
here.
it five?
Tom.
Well,
I think we have to cut
572.
this section out.
Or is
The
it
United West guys should know when the second
572? Or am I close?
temple-
What is it?
No. The second temple was destroyed by whom? All the people out there in the audience are going, I know. Who was the second temple destroyed
The
by?
Romans.
The Romans,
The
yeah.
Romans. So what year was
Oh,
that?
so it's got to be 300s.
Earlier. 71 AD.
71.
Second
Oh,
temple
okay.
was
I'm way off.
destroyed in 71 AD. Muslims, 532. Muhammad was born. Islam comes around 610. 610, Muhammad dies. 100 years, 700. 6th century. Islam, next 200 years, they conquer the place. They go into Israel. And where do they build their little Dome of the Rock?
Right on top of that temple.
Right on top of where Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac until God walked in and gave him a scapegoat. Right? You're the scapegoat. He said, because the sacrifice was an essential part of Jewish theology, and blood, because of sin, blood had to be shed, and the son was going to be sacrificed, and Abraham was going to do it. That's how faithful he was. And God said no. And he brings a goat, and you get the concept of scapegoat, escaping through the goat's sacrifice. On that rock, where 2 temples were built, these clowns built this building.
Of course, that is what we do, Tom. And what we do is we destroy churches and synagogues, and we build on mosques on top of them. It is very supremacist.
And in order for the Jewish theocracy, the temple to be reinstalled and reinstated at some point in Jewish eschatology, this building can't be there. And
Eschatology means what, Tom?
there are
in times?
Yeah, the end of the world. There are very Bible-believing Jews. Some people call them radical. That each year try to go up there and knock this thing down, but the Israeli Defense Force say no.
No.
You can't knock that
Well,
down.
let me
They can-
ask you something. On yesterday's show, we discussed Jordan, and Jordan's Ariagozi told us that Jordan actually put an ambassador back into Israel. Jordan is control of
King
the
Abdullah.
Waqf. Jordanians really control who is and is not allowed to go up there. Do you think that possibly this might be the beginning of where Jews are allowed to actually go pray in their holiest of holy sites?
Very interesting question. Waqf is the land that the Muslims claim to themselves, which is this area. And as much as, and the Muslims even now deny the fact that there's 2 temples built underneath here, that you
Right.
can see all the stuff down there. But yesterday was a very sad day, the 3rd. Very, very sad day. And right off, when we got off the air, we found out about the Jordanian pilot
Right.
who, and it's still a little unclear, but the story seems to be, to answer your question before I get into that, I don't think that the Jordanian pilot being burned alive by the Islamic State, it's not ISIS, it's the Islamic State, call it what it is, being burned alive as a signal to King Abdullah in Jordan to stay the hell out of the coalition. Don't fly your jets with the United States shooting us because we'll burn you alive. And burning is an unbelievable concept in Islamic theology.
Hellfire.
Yeah, the hellfire thing is very, very big. And when you're an infidel and you go to hell in Islamic theology, you burn in hell and your flesh burns off. And it's unbelievable searing pain. And in this 22-minute video called A Healing of the Nations, or A Healing of, check it out, A Healing of something it's called, that was released by the Islamic State, they actually put the Jordanian pilot, 26-year-old pilot, in a cage, douse him in gasoline, and then put a line of gasoline as a fuse to ignite the area he's in. And the videotape has him being burned alive. He falls to his knees, in flames, grabs his head, and you watch a human being being burned, and there's a charred body, and he's screaming these unbelievable screams, and then he finally dies, and there's a charred body there. That has been released. It's on the internet. It's going to be shut down, but it's going to be found all over the place. That is a direct signal to King Abdullah to say, this is what we're going to do if you fight with the infidels. And
Well, and
I'll tell you
also
what,
King Abdullah had his
hang on.
well, had his visitor in the United States.
What?
King Abdullah is in the United States right now.
Is he right here, right now? He's going to be going back after that. But Jordan is a very bizarre country, held together somewhat autocratically with help from Israel and the United States, believe it or not. Strong Muslim Brotherhood presence in Jordan, and the Brotherhood right now, who is lining up with the Islamic State, is going to say, look, we don't want Jordan to be participating with the infidels fighting the Islamic State. There's going to be unrest in the country of
You
Jordan.
cannot have Muslims killing Muslims. This is not
crazy
good.
stuff. Now, at 23 minutes after, what would be the wisest thing in the world for a smart person? Come with us right to the center of all of that. Hey, let's go on a trip. Let's go on a vacation right to Israel, to the Jordan River, looking over at Jordan, seeing, and if you want to extend it, you can go to Petra on a one-day excursion and go right into the bowels of Jordan, but it's very safe, our trip.
I heard the whole country's similar to bowels.
Well, no, it's an interesting country. But we are going on the 21st of March to the 31st. You can still squeeze your way in, I think, at this late hour. Okay, a lot of things happening. 23 minutes after 4 o'clock, 23 minutes after your hour. WSPR. That's the name of the radio station on the internet, theunitedwest.org. Tea Party community, Tim Saletti. Let's give Tim a hand.
Yeah.
Doing a great job. Tim Saletti, Tea Party community. Everybody needs to go there. I've been asked by some of our friends to give them a little mention, some props, and one is Creeping Sharia.
Yes.
Creeping Sharia,
Yes.
good folks there. If we can find their site, put that
Well,
up.
yeah, thanks for throwing it right on us at the last second. We
Well, I
appreciate
give you a
that,
little time.
to-
Creeping Sharia. And then Bonnie over at
Bare Naked Islam.
BNI, Bare Naked Islam. She is a dear friend of ours. I'll leave it at that. Good friend of ours. Does phenomenal work and is a hard charger. You know, you want to do something crazy, Muslims, you want to put it on the internet, it's going on Bare Naked Islam, and you're going to look like an idiot, let me tell you. But also, on our trip to our special guest, on our trip to D.C. last week, over a couple of glasses of the bubbly and a couple of cigars, we said, you know what, there are a lot of Muslims out there who get caught up, like people do in any religion, in a religion that they don't really buy into. And as much as we go after the system of Islam, we've always made a distinction between the human beings, Muslims. Maybe we will, not maybe, we will in the future make appeals to these individuals caught up in this horrendous satanic system of death and destruction. Really, very little when you look forensically or analytically.
A Mike Chop liver?
Very little. I'm gonna let you speak, Imam Abdullah. You can talk. We're fair here, but we're gonna talk about the Western culture, not the kind of avarice and the horrible immoral behavior that Warren Sapp. You hear about Warren Sapp?
Yes.
What did he do? I didn't hear
He
about
got
this.
sapped. He was
What'd he
trying
do?
to sap himself. He was trying to get sapped.
Solicitation of prostitutes in Phoenix the day after the Super Bowl.
Oh,
And
you
it only
guys are
cost him his
such
job.
prudes. God.
He's a big-time reporter on what station? On one of the networks.
NFL Network.
Network. Phenomenal Hall of Famer, all of that. He wants to go screw around with some
Did he do it
goofy-
legally? Did he do it legally?
No, it was like some prostitute on the street or something.
Really?
You know,
I mean, he's got all that money. Why don't you
what
just
the
go to
heck is
Vegas
this?
or something, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
who knows?
Another couple good websites are counterjihadreport.com. Everyone
Yes.
should check that out. The Religion of Peace. Obviously, Robert Spencer's Jihad Watch is
Watch.
must read daily. And
Act
obviously,
for America, what?
Act for America, Pamela Geller.
Act for
Yeah.
Pamela Geller.
Right.
What do we have
yeah,
for Pamela?
baby.
Watch
We're
what we-
going back to Texas.
Watch what we bring up right now.
Oh, I didn't hear about it.
Oh, this is pretty cool.
You didn't tell me about this.
No, we just found out a little bit ago. 27 minutes after the hour. I am going to get into our material. We do need a 3-hour show, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, we can't afford that.
So what's PG-13 got to do here?
Speaking of affording, what's what?
Pamela Geller.
Oh, he's pulling it up.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of affording things, we exist on donations, folks. The United West is a 501c3 tax exempt and tax deduction organization. Means if you give us a $1 million donation, then you can deduct $1 million off of your income, and you don't pay taxes on that because you spent that money for the public good. We exist for the public good, okay?
No, take $1 million.
And if it's a $1,000 donation, even if it's a measly, no good, rotten $5 donation, it's okay.
We love those $5
We love
donations.
those
What are you
$5
talking about?
donations, but you can deduct that amount from the amount of money you got to give to Obamacare, because your tax dollars are going right to Obamacare. So think about it. Trento Care or Obamacare? The United West Care or Obamacare? No brainer. Write us a check. Thank you very much. How's that for a commercial?
Pretty cool, man.
Pretty cool.
I'd like to hear you address the $11.9 billion that Obama's releasing to Iran in conjunction with them
Wait.
from Russia.
Repeat? What?
Yeah, well, the repeat was the intruder here. Good thing you brought food and goodies.
Goodies, yeah.
The intruder.
Good thing we didn't give him
wants
a
to
microphone.
Write the script for the show.
Oh, he does.
Wants
He's
to
just
go
blasting off
We
script.
follow the script exactly.
He just thinks we just come in here and talk and
All this
BS.
looseness is scripted
Scripted in.
Rehearsed
Like 3 hours beforehand.
something about Obama and giving away a lot of money.
Yeah. Well,
He gives away a lot of money. That's a surprise. But seriously, donate to us so you don't have to donate to Obamacare.
exactly.
What is Obamacare? What a joke that stuff is. He's pulling
It
up.
still
Are you having
hasn't
trouble
hit.
with-
The website's having a problem.
Okay.
Well,
I'll
just
tell
tell
you
us
what
about
it is. 3 weeks ago, we sent a crack team of Damon Rosen. Is Damon here anywhere?
I am here.
Oh, he's back
There he
there.
is.
Damon Rosen and Alan Kornman up
Right.
in Orlando to Garland, Texas to cover a Muslim Brotherhood We Hate Islamophobia event, which is really meaning you're not allowed to speak about Muslims worldwide, no
Right.
free speech event. And there was a lot of confrontation and a lot of question over the legitimacy of an organization to rent a public access building and then not allow the public access to that building. So there may be some lawsuits. We may be behind one of them. You may be seeing that soon regarding what occurred. In any event, Pamela Geller said, hey, if you're going to rent the building to a bunch of jihadi Muslim Brotherhood people to suppress free speech, you got to rent it, Garland, Texas,
To us.
public access building, to me, to Pamela Geller, for an event that emphasizes free speech. And
It is going to be
Do we have it or no?
the
have
websites. They're probably getting another attack, which they.
Why don't you read? Can you read what it is?
No,
or-
I
can't-
cannot
it
even
won't pull it
pull
up.
It
It's
will not pull up.
called the first annual, and I'm paraphrasing here, first annual art festival for drawing Mohammed. Okay, so she's featuring.
I have not heard about this.
It just came out today. She put a release out a little while ago. Actually, it came out yesterday. We're talking about it today. Pamela Geller put out a release that said she has the artwork, beautiful artwork, big for an artist
Right.
that does all of her work. It's got a picture of Mohammed, like one of the famous picture of, I think it was Van Gogh drawing himself.
Right.
It's Mohammed drawing himself, looking at 5 pictures of himself, which include Charlie Hebdo cartoons, the bomb head cartoon,
Right.
all of this, and he's drawing himself here. First annual Mohammed Art Festival, right? And she's holding it there.
$10,000 to the winner. Don't laugh, boys.
10
G-Bos.
10 large.
Did you
10
hear that,
large.
Mort Cuff?
Yeah, 10 large.
Yeah, Mort, 10 large to the winner.
We're
of the
talking
first
to you,
annual,
Morty.
Mohammed Art Festival in Garland, Texas, first week in May, and it's from 5 to 7 at night. We'll bring you more. We'll bring Pamela on the show, have her push it.
Absolutely.
All
I
right.
can't wait to go.
But sooner or later,
Well, you
we're
know,
going
we
to
should
get back to
we
the
should run
subject at hand.
we should run an ad in the paper for that, Tom.
We're going to have a crew there. I think we'll all go there to support that. We're also going to be March 3rd in Washington, D.C. We invite all of our viewers, our fans, our friends, our listeners. Benjamin Netanyahu bypassing 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Give Bibi a hand for that. Bypassing the nitwits there. It's going right down Independence Avenue and going into the United States Congress where we were last week. I hope he can fill HC 8.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
And he's going to address the United States Congress on the issue of our 3-part series today, Iran and the nukes. I'm going to illustrate that in a second with these props. And we are going to be there welcoming him as he arrives and also confronting ideologically and through the media, confronting the freakazoids that are going to be assembled. Now, I've been in D.C. many times. I've been there when Netanyahu has been there, and I've interviewed these crazies from Code Pink. What's her name? The woman.
Oh, I actually had a long interview with her in front of the.
What's her name? She's like a trust
Yeah,
fund.
I know who you're talking about. Can't think of her name.
The crazy Nutura Jewish Orthodox.
Oh,
people
Natura
gonna be-
Carta freaks.
They're going to be there.
Oh, is David Duke coming too then? Because David Duke is buddies
tight
with them.
We're going to have every pro-Palestinian and Hezbollah and Hamas group in the world there. You're talking about a security.
Are they going to be okay with each other? Oh, yeah, because they're going to be
they're
ripping
such
Israel.
good
They'll get
friends.
along
They're
for an
ripping
hour or two.
So we
We
will
got to
be
get
there.
Imam Abdullah to go there too.
Abdullah, you want to come?
I will see. I do not want to welcome this Zionist pig
No,
to
you
this
can-
country, but
You can go and the other
Ride with us
Right.
yes.
in our we have a private jet now.
Yeah.
In our United
Ooh,
West
very
private
nice.
jet, yeah. And where you ride may be
Called
not
United.
Where you want to
Called
ride.
United.
Can I bring my camel?
We have. You ever hear of United?
Yes.
United West.
United
Close
West.
enough.
Who do you think
Very
owns
good.
that? Who do you think owns that?
owns United? Okay, United
Why are you
West.
always asking for money then?
See? Well, we got to keep the mystique that we're a low budget operation alive. You know. But
Trust
you
me,
come
Tom,
with
all
us.
anyone has to see is look at this place. It is low budget.
We will protect you, and then you can go there, and you can go on either side you want. You can be on the BB side or against the.
I will hang
you
out
go-
with the Hamas.
You can be on the BB side or the Bobo side.
I
Whatever
will
side
hang
you
out
wanna
with the
be on.
Hamas.
Hang out with these brothers and
You're on
sisters.
the Bobo side.
Hang out with
We'll
these
be on
brothers
the
and
BB
sisters.
side. Yeah. All right, let's get to Yoram Ettinger's amazing analysis.
Are we finally going to
of
get to
this-
that?
Yes, we're going to get to it.
After 3 days, are we finally going to get to that?
We
Finally
got to it
gonna
on
get
Monday, only about a
Finally
tenth of
gonna
it.
get to it. Finally gonna get to it. But let's go back to this first. A word from your
Our sponsor.
Here's President Obama.
Our sponsor.
This guy is standing between the free world and Hezbollah with a nuke. a nuclear weapon. I mean, one way of looking at it, if Iran gets the bomb, is Hezbollah going to get the bomb?
Of course.
Common sense.
In fact, I was listening to a program. Someone had the tournament of terrorists, and Hezbollah won the tournament by nuking Islamic State.
Oh.
Yes, that is how the game
So the
finished.
Shias defeated the Sunnis, even though there's a disproportionate amount of Sunnis. compared
So
to
it was like the Islamic Super Bowl? Was that what it was?
Super Bowl,
Yes,
yeah,
it was
over
the
weekend.
tournament of terrorists.
Understand that. If you get nothing else out of this show, the big idea today is if Iran gets the bomb and they're well on their way, then Hezbollah gets the bomb because Hezbollah is Iran is
It's
Hezbollah.
the military wing of Iran.
Now, this guy is standing between the free world and Hezbollah having nuclear weapons. So, how does that work? Very simple.
And who's that guy for our
This guy
radio?
is Mr. President.
Okay.
Thanks to get a profile there, Mr. President. That's a pretty cool little.
I have a good picture of that thing.
I know you do.
All right. Now, here is Hezbollah. We'll represent Iran. Even though they're Shia, and the Sunnis are basically in charge of things right now, the Shia wannabe, and they're working their way up. This represents a very important point for even Shia Muslims in the world, as phony as it is, because Muhammad never even came near this place.
Flying
But
horse.
Who cares about facts, okay?
Right.
This represents Islam. And in particular, this represents Shia Islam. Shia Islam wants this stuff right here. What is this?
Oil.
And for the past 2 days, I've been pouring
You've
it
been
into this
coagulating
jar.
oil here in front
But
of us. Yes.
because it's been sitting around, I don't know what the problem is, but this oil container doesn't pour oil. Look at this, magic.
No
The
viscosity of 1
viscosity,
million.
I don't know.
Slow.
I don't know. No, you know what? Something's jammed
It's
up.
freezing in here.
I know. You need to get some
I'm
heat
not
on
going to
it.
push it too hard. Oh, look. Oh, I got to squeeze it out. I'm not going to do it too hard. But in any event, the Shia world wants control of more oil. They control huge reserves.
And this map gives a
Perfect.
is a detailed. Give me
At 37 minutes after 4, for all of you watching the show, we just showed the map, the golden triangle,
the black gold triangle.
black gold triangle, which shows the oil reserves in the Gulf region, particularly in Saudi Arabia area, that Iran does not have. So they want to get to that.
Well,
Right now,
let me
they
give a
have
quick
this-
explanation of that.
Wait,
real
not
quick.
yet. Right now, I just want to give a quick overview, and then we'll go into it. Right now, they got this guy representing whom? This country.
Superman.
United
Yes.
States.
The only superpower in the world is
The United
of
States.
America. And, oh, this is beautiful. I didn't even realize this. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
This is the guy, the commander-in-chief.
The hat's too big for the head.
Tibet.
Is that perfect?
Yeah.
The hat is way too big for his little bitty brain.
Let's put him like this.
The job is too big for the man.
Look at
Yeah,
that shot.
the job is way too big for the man.
Must impeach.
The
Does
job
not
is
fit.
too
You must.
big for the guy. What a beautiful symbol. If you get nothing else out of the show, that's all you need.
The guy's
That's right.
in over his head.
Guys
over his
in over his head,
you know?
way over his head.
And the United States, the only superpower, stands between Shia Islam and the bomb. Once they get the bomb, and we've analyzed, we're going to do it more. Once Iran gets the bomb, this represents the bomb. Once they get it, then we got Iran with a bomb. Then the power projection of the United States of America, the military power projection, which means what?
Being able to reach out and touch someone.
Somebody.
And we can do that. I mean, the SEALs can be anywhere within 18 hours, any place in the world.
Other than Benghazi.
And
Benghazi, right?
within 18 hours, we can deliver even less than that, but that's guys on the ground. Within an hour, we can deliver stuff anywhere in the world because we got subs all over the place. But we can project our power. Well, our power is neutralized by maniac ayatollahs with superheated plutonium, because what are you going to do? Blow up their nuclear reactor at that point? No, you can't do that, because now you've contaminated the whole region and millions of people are going to die. So we can't do that once the reactors are hot. So we either have to prevent them from getting hot, which means disassemble them. There's two ways of disassembling. You get the crew to go in and get the wrenches and everything and start disassembling, or you get what to go in and disassemble?
Like
A Moab.
The mother of all bombs.
Yeah, 30,000-pound bombs that need to be dropped on 4 areas in Iran. And for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be focusing on that. We're going to give you a lesson in Iran's nuclear quest and the necessity of the West, in particular America, to stop it. Otherwise, the Israelis do, and either way it happens, it's better for us doing it, the Americans. So once we are neutralized by the nuke power of Iran, they have access to the oil, particularly in the Saudi fields, and they also have access to Mecca and Medina, and they want Mecca. They want to control, the Iranians want to control the 2 holy cities, then in a blink of an eye. And you know what? A couple of years ago, we would have thought this is impossible to even consider this.
I know, this is terrible.
But to see how the world can change so rapidly because of cell phones and the immediacy of revolutions, you could have a Shia-controlled Mecca with a couple of geopolitical pieces of the puzzle falling into place. Unbelievable. Now you want to talk about world unrest? You think the Sunnis who answer those surveys saying, oh, we're against using force to hurt or kill people, that 50% that are supposed to be so benign. You give Iran control of Mecca, you watch flipped out Muslim Sunnis all over the world exploding themselves, trying to kill any country that's in any support of Iran or trying to kill the Iranians. We're going to have a conflagration of Islamic civil war between Sunni and Shia on a thermonuclear scale. What a fun thing to do, Mr. President.
Take Syria and multiply it by 2,000.
With not just the barrel bombs that Assad has right now, barrel bombs that are radioactive. That's where we're going with all of this. Because those freaks don't care if they kill each other, just as long as there's one man standing at the end and he's a Shia or a Sunni.
Again, mutually assured destruction does not work with these people like it worked with the Russians.
It's an enticement.
And everybody thinks there's going to be some sort of battle between Islam and the West. I'll offer for consideration an internal battle between nuclear, and imagine if Iran gets the bomb. And now Pakistan has about 160.
I was going to say, what's Pakistan going to do? They're 90% Sunni, 90% Sunni.
So Saudi Arabia, that funded Pakistan's development of the nukes through AQ Khan, has a deal right now with the Pak saying, if we ever need them, you're bringing them over by us. So now we got Pakistan with nukes in Saudi Arabia. This sounds so crazy, Tom Trent. Oh, yeah, really? We got Pakistan putting nukes in, and imagine if all of this happens on this guy's watch. Well, we can't really get involved in all of this. Pakistan putting nukes in Saudi Arabia. Iran saying, let's go, boys. We're willing to sacrifice. We got 70 million people. 60 million.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. Now we got a worldwide conflagration in the Middle East that'll expand beyond that. And we have nuclear clouds floating all over the place with millions and millions of people dying. And the West had nothing to do with it. All Muslim initiated.
Actually, when Damon had that map up there earlier with Iran, when you put Iran like in the center of the map, it really makes it very clear what is going on.
That's frightening when you do that.
Because if you look at Iran being in the center of the map, you have to the right of it Afghanistan and Pakistan, which adjoins the borders.
To the east.
To the east. You have Iraq to its west. And you have the Straits of Hormuz and Saudi Arabia.
Persian Gulf right to the south.
And don't forget Turkey that's gone ape cuckoo crazy for the last 5-6 years. Turkey has a border with Iran.
Now, also you look at the big dark green areas on this thing. Obviously, Iran is Shia. And you see how that dark green area has stretched off into Iraq over there. That's all Shia controlled now. Now, Iran has 1/3 of the oil supply in there. That little green area that stretches off into the Iraq, off to the west, is the other third of the oil supply in the Middle East. And that one little area that's below, across the Strait of Hormuz, where is all the other oil is down there. is the other third. So 56% of the world's oil supply is right in that little triangle, as we showed earlier. But more importantly, Iran is right in the center of that, and there's only one country standing in Iran's way, and that is Saudi Arabia from controlling all.
Unbelievable. And imagine a shootout between the Shia and the Sunnis, but the shootout has some serious hot plutonium or uranium as their bullets. And imagine, forget about the physical, measurable damage done to the universe. What do you think is going to happen with oil if that whole region containing that much
little
oil
triangle,
is up in flames? What's going to happen to the economies of the world, the heating and cold environments? What can you see Ferguson's on steroids erupting, the urban unrest and chaos being initiated by the Hezbollah cells throughout the West? I mean, the world
That's
is
without
in complete
Hezbollah.
chaos.
That's without Hezbollah doing one thing to us domestically. That's
Right.
without unleashing their terror cells, sleeper cells
Yep.
that are absolutely 100%. We know from CIA briefings that Hezbollah has been coming through the Mexican border for close to 20 years. That's also if they don't set off an EMP, which we talked about on Monday's show.
And-
Which would, if we get hit with an EMP and our electric grid is fried, you're looking at potentially one third of the population of this country being dead within 12 months. That's without anyone being killed in an explosion. That's strictly the effects of grid getting fried.
And let me say one other important point about this whole oil situation over here is you see that if you look on the map, which is in Saudi Arabia off the Straits of Hormuz, all that, even though Saudi Arabia is 90% Sunni, that 95, whatever the percentage is, that whole area where all of Saudi Arabia's oil is, the other one third of that triangle,
The northeast section
is all Shia controlled. And also, if you look south to that a little bit more of that area, to really get the whole grand poobah, collection of this thing, you have the UAE, Oman, and Qatar, which is a little bit further south. They would dominate energy supplies throughout the.
This map doesn't even have Yemen on it.
And add to this, ladies and gentlemen, 48 minutes after 4 on WSBR Radio. Tom Trento, your host. We're just having a fascinating conversation here, but we're also talking to you out there in Radio Land, WSBR Radio, 740 AM on your dial. TheUnitedWest.org. Go there. Go to our archives, youtube.com/TheUnitedWest. We're talking about the ramifications and consequences of Iran getting a bomb. This is so relevant because in just a few short weeks, another metric, another deadline, mid-March is going to be reached regarding the negotiations of our administration with the Ayatollahs regarding the issue of sanctions, the issue of restrictions, the issue of removing enriched uranium out of Iran, the issue of spooling down the centrifuges that are running. All of these are on the table, and so far, the Iranians have won every single round of negotiations with President Obama. It's men against a child. That's how serious the situation is.
Now, one other thing we need to one thing we need to bring up also, going back, and we said this a couple times throughout the past, but it's very, very important to reiterate. Everybody keeps thinking of Yemen as this, dirtbag, throwaway country that's a nothing country. Can you pull up the map there, Damon? Because what that represents, even though you might think just a bunch of terrorists running around there, well, this is now Hezbollah controlled.
And it is a lot of terrorists. AQ has been there.
Right.
Al-Qaeda has been there for years and years and years.
Now look at the placement on the map. This is very important. If you go home tonight, look at the map of the Middle East, and you see that Yemen is right. It's like strategically located perfectly as a launching platform to go right into Saudi Arabia. You don't think that Iran has designs and ideals and aspirations on Saudi Arabia, that last third of that triangle of domination of the economic power of oil throughout the world, you're nuts. And that nuclear bomb Tom's been talking about, there's going to be nuclear bombs being placed in Yemen at strategic location points, and that just locks up the whole region and territory. It's over. It's game time.
Now, add to all of our geopolitical analysis and speculation, and let me tell you, behind closed doors at the various three-letter agencies in Washington, the conversations are much crazier than this. This is a very sane.
This is 101 stuff.
This is a measured conversation with speculation that's rooted in fact and in behavior. You got to look at the behavior of the targeting group you're looking at, and you got to look at the facts that are alive in this region. Now, to really sweeten the pot here, add the end times. Add the millennial view that the Ayatollahs have about bringing the world to a point where everyone becomes a Muslim, and doing that through the Shia avenue. When you look at their theology of how they're supposed to do it, and you look at the 12th Imam, and you look at the fact that all the ruling Ayatollahs and leaders in Iran are 12ers, which means they're like members of the Nazi Party.
Right.
To be a leader in the Nazi Party, you can be a member of the Nazi Party. To be a leader in Iran, you got to be a member of the 12ers who fully believe in the 12th Imam. And now Ayatollah Khomeini, not the Khomeini, and Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who is in the background but still very, very relevant. He's the precursor, in a sense, the John the Baptist to the 12th Imam. These folks believe that the Imam, the 12th Imam, is here, and now the geopolitical developments have to occur in a certain way, one of which is this, getting control of nuclear capability. Then it's time for Iran to make a move. This sounds crazy, but it's going to affect everybody's life out there, which is why we're yelling it from the top of the watchtower.
Well, maybe not if you don't eat meat, food,
need
live in a
oxygen
house
or clean water.
anything like that.
Yeah, it's
Can we
possible.
get to the Yoram?
No, I don't know.
We don't have time.
Part 4.
Part 4.
Let me read the beginning of Yoram Ettinger's article here, which fits in perfectly. And Yoram Ettinger is one of our presenters on our trip March 21st to the 31st of this year. He will be with us in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. He's a former ambassador to the United States. He's a brilliant analyst. And he wrote this just the other day. A nuclear Iran threatening vital U.S. interests. He says, irrespective of Israel's policies and existence, waloo, one stroke of the pen, and he takes Israel, which everybody thinks all of this is Israel's fault.
No, nothing.
Of course it is. Everything is the Jews' fault.
Just pluck Israel out of the equation. Take it completely out of the
If Israel
equation.
wasn't there, the world would be a perfect, happy place.
Right.
He says, irrespective of Israel's policies, what they do, or the fact of their existence, Iran's pursuit of mega capability, nuclear, aims at removing the mega obstacle, the U.S., which would enable the Ayatollahs, when they get this, to obtain their mega goal, the domination of that map you had up there, the domination of the Persian Gulf as a prelude to the domination of the Muslim world and the entire globe.
Yes.
Takbir!
Islam is borderless, folks. There are no borders. Muslims don't see, oh, somebody drew a line there, we have to respect that. No, Allah has given us the earth and we have to convert it. And the Shias and the Ayatollahs believe that. And not only do they believe it, they can taste it, they can smell it, they can sniff it, they can feel it, they can see
And
it.
it's actually doable.
It's doable, it really is. He goes on to say, according to the fact-driven, guilty until proven innocent school of thought, fact-driven, this is a play on words here. Usually, ours is innocent until proven guilty school of thought. But he's saying, according to the fact-driven, guilty until proven innocent school of thought, meaning the Iranians are guilty of pursuing a nuclear bomb and trying to lie and deceive the West. That's the fact. Well, according to the fact-driven school of thought, that one, and in contrast to the Hopi-changey-driven, fact-dismissing, innocent. Iran is innocent until we prove them guilty. Mr. Obama, listen up. School of thought. A nuclear Iran would compound the clear and present and lethal threat posed by a conventional Iran to critical American and Western interests, to the survival of Israel, Saudi Arabia, and other pro-U.S. Arab oil producers, and to global sanity. Just what we've been talking about.
Everyone has a different definition of sanity, Trento.
Watch this. Moreover, the Ayatollah's track record, for example, sacrificing 5 of its own youth on the...
Five.
No, not 5, Tom.
500.
Nope.
No. You need to read that.
5,000.
No, larger.
Oh.
No.
Oh, let me see.
You got to count the zeros. What is that?
500,000. 500,000 of its own youth on the altar of clearing minefields during the 1980-88 war, Iran and Iraq, suggests that, stop, pause, parenthetical thought, what is sacrificing 500,000 youth on the altar of minefielding? What is that? Minefield clearing. What is all that?
That is so the children force the linemans to blow up so we do not waste our military equipment and trained soldiers. A child's life is worth nothing compared to a trained soldier or a tank.
Oh, so during the 1980 to 1988 war of Iran against Iraq, it was a sort of trench warfare, World War I situation, and Iran was on one side and Iraq was on the other. They fought for 8 years to a standstill. 1 million people died. They would, charge like in the olden days, but each side, actually, the Iraqis mined the field, so when the Iranians came, the soldiers would blow up and you'd lose a highly trained soldier. So what happened?
So what they do is they recruit young kids, like 10 to 15 years old, and they blindfold the children and have them walk across the minefields.
What do the parents say about this?
Some of the
Well, they're
parents,
rewarded.
if the parents have a problem, then you kill the parents before you take them. But a lot of the parents say that this is a martyrdom exercise, and they are happy to see their kids get the 72 virgins.
So your messenger is saying you've got the behavior and the policies of a group of people that will sacrifice young children in this doctrine of martyrdom, where these children are translated before God because God is so happy that they blew themselves up fighting other Muslims who are the wrong kind of Muslims. You've got people like that you're going to entrust hot plutonium? What are we thinking about here, folks? Then he goes on to say, Urim Ettinger does, the track record of a conventional Iran highlights the following. No nukes, conventional. On every November 4th, Iran celebrates, by burning an American flag, Death to
America!
Death to America. We have the 4th of July, we have Christmas, we have Easter, we have Hanukkah, we have all these holidays. They have Death to America Day.
This is actually part of that celebration.
And we're looking at part of the celebration of Death to America Day.
With the little and look how they train their kids from like 4 to 5 to 6 years old. It's a not Nazi youth movement.
Indoctrination.
Indoctrination.
guarantee
It really is.
Oh, we got a little more time. Okay. It is complete indoctrination. Again, when you do the kind of work we do, you got to analyze their Weltanschauungs, their worldviews, what their basic presuppositions are, and then if they truly believe those, how it affects their behavior, and if they behave in a particular way.
Hey, Tom, don't tell the secret. Don't tell the secret, because people always ask us, how do you always know they're
all this
right?
stuff?
How do you always know this?
If they behave in a certain way, and that's okay, because you could have 2 nut jobs, alone in a tent somewhere in the middle of the desert. But if they get control of a country like they did in 1979, and if they get control of the military, and then if they wind up in negotiations with the only superpower in the world, this is absurd. A second-rate country like Iran, second-rate in many, many respects, second-rate country is literally bringing the United States to its knees and other Western countries in these negotiations. I'll tell you what, everybody listening or watching this show today, you now know, this is a very sad, very horrible thing to say, You know more about the seriousness of this
Than
situation
our
than this
president.
president does. He is clueless on this. He's being led astray. He's acting in a treasonous way. If he allows Iran to get a bomb, we need to bomb Iran 4 facilities to oblivion, set them back, and just keep doing that until we get past this problem. We cannot live with a nuclear Iran. It will be the end of Western civilization. See you tomorrow.